Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today we're looking at the Transformers. This is Perceptor. Let's see. This is God. There's got to be a number on here. Studio Series. I don't see a number on here. But one of the real important things I really want to point out, and when I saw it, I already have a Perceptor, and oddly enough, I think I even have them out and handy. Nope, I guess I'm kind of lying on that one. I thought I had them out in handy, or at least I used to for a while there on one of my shelves. So I really wasn't overly interested in getting Perceptor, but one of the things that I kind of quickly noticed is we also have two other bots with him. We have Ram Horn and Rat Bat. So we're actually getting three Transformers here. And the fact that we do not get a whole heck of a lot of the cassettes to go with Sound Blaster or Blaster and Soundwave, that really makes this very interesting. So today we get three robots, two Autobots, and a Decepticon, and it's just wonderful. Now, I don't think that they're going to make it. It's kind of odd that we have them packaged with Perceptor. I don't know if they're just saying Perceptor is just not that memorable of a bot to sell on its own, so we're going to put them with something else, which might be. I don't know. I don't know the reasoning behind this because not really the way I would have figured that you would be getting Ram Horn and Rat Bat. But nonetheless, it is very exciting, and I'm very happy. Now, I had found this at my local Target. I don't know, because I got this, I want to say like a month or so ago, and because I really have not been doing a lot of the figures, and I still have a bunch of figures kind of sitting here from before that I had picked up here and there. I think this week is going to be the week we just kind of go through some of the figures. So for everyone hoping for all the RPG stuff, we'll take a week off on that, and we'll kind of hit a lot of these figures and that I have and kind of go through there. Just trying to get them all unboxed, so I'm not looking at boxes of figures here that just never seems to get open, because I'm waiting to do this in front of the camera so we can all see what we get here. Alright, so this is all kind of done nicely. I don't mind with this sitting up here. Our nice scientist here, 17, this is what, 17 moves, and we get them transformed. So, doing it without any actual guidebook or whatever shouldn't be overly difficult. He wasn't that hard to actually go through, but he has a nice standard look to him, and this should open up. And that becomes his tray for his microscope. So that works out pretty good. Okay. Well, let's see how well I can fumble through on getting them through this. And then that should slide. I know this is going to have to slide over some, because it always does. There. I know that always goes up. This is going to go over too, I'm willing to believe, as I'm starting to get heavy rain. So I'm sure my phone's going to go off a couple times saying, hey, there's rain in the area, please. We're finally getting swaths of rain coming through. Okay, that's the foot joint. That's that nice little joint that they've been putting in. So if we have them kind of wide-legged or narrow there or what have us, he can kind of sit there and take care of that. I'm just trying to figure out how we're doing, because it's been a little while since I've done a Perceptor. All right, so the arms go down. I'm going to cheat in what I'm doing here. Okay. Because once I get a visual picture of what I'm looking at again, which, like I said, it's been a while since I've done them, but I remember the last time I had, it wasn't overly difficult. So let's get this over. His arm needs to go up. Oh, come on, you silly, silly. All right, let's get his hands in. That hinges. That hinges. And then these need to go up. I knew that one went over. So I had to make all the sense. And then this clips in together up here. And I knew they had to go over the head. That made all the sense there. Okay. And we have this tray. Now you could cheapen it up and you could actually just put it here. But technically his legs do widen all the way out. So once I can get his legs... Oh, thank God for the joints being what they are. And then we just kind of widen it out like this. I just have not gotten his arms all the way up because they got to go up and then down. Unless they go down and then up. That's where I'm... Alright. That's where I'm wrong. Flips the whole arm around. And then... Now, the only time I ever really used a microscope is when I was in school, many eons ago. Alright, and then there we have him. So then he can look at whatever he's got here. And then, of course, this is going to be ram horn. So, let's see. We have what looks like his legs on the side. And then this is going to fold down some. And then, actually, yeah, this is ram horn. Okay. And he gives him that kind of wider stance there. And then we have his legs that are going to pop out here. If I can get them. Oh, come on. There is a tab on the side that works. I'm just trying to use my thumbnail, which isn't doing the greatest right now, but I'm trying to use that to get that out. Probably would have been better if I would have done that when everything was all... There we go. Front leg first, then back leg. Front leg first, then back leg. Okay. So I'm hitting that a little bit backwards here. Okay, so he is a little stocky, a little on the blockier side. And then we have all of this. And this is going to have to... let's see. There's his horn. That gets to go up. That sits somewhere. I'm going to say that that should be on the top and the back here. But it doesn't seem like that's quite it, so maybe it is underneath. Okay, underneath. And then there we are. And then that actually kind of blocks in on the side there. So he's got a little support buddy here. So we kind of move this out of the way. And then we get Rat Bat. So there's this blaster. That's for Rat Bat. Okay. So just looking at this, you know, I'm going to say I have a Rat Bat somewhere. Possibly. Because I have a deluxe version of Soundwave. And there's Rat Bat's face sitting right here. And it doesn't look like he does all that much more. We do have legs that come out. And they're very stubby. So we have little stubby legs right here. And we're going to take his... Oh, the dickens here. That goes up. Well, I just heard something from a bunny I shouldn't hear. Okay, I think that is what fits into our piece there. All right. And then there's Rat Bat. So that works out pretty good. It's not a full... They're using the same hole that they're going to use for any of the guns or whatever else. This should hopefully fit in there. Yeah. And it does. So you could steal the gun from Perceptor. And on the top, someone else could hold it or put it onto the back, and that could suddenly become their own jetpack. So that'll work. And then we have Rat Bat here, looking like he's a little conniving thief to keep Perceptor from trying to shoot at him with whatever kind of. I don't remember if he had a null ray or what have us, but there he is. And then trying to get him back should go fairly nice and simple. Bringing his foot down. you know, Sometimes having a very simple design works out really well. I don't have any issues with that. The nice thing is way back when, and I just had this conversation yesterday, uh, and then the day before, oddly enough, um, doing a surprise birthday party and having family over. But when we have for uh, the writers from Marvel, they had come up with all the different things between GI Joe and Transformers and all the likes like that. They wrote interesting characters that, we don't see Perceptor a lot. He's a scientist. He's that quiet guy in the background that takes care of the things that he's got to take care of. But when he comes in that need, he fills that role, and he does it quietly. He might grumble a little bit, but he's always there and trustworthy. Um, Very much like you think of uh, for the Decepticon there. Oh goodness gracious! Essentially, it was Megatron's kind of second in command, but he was left on. And now I can't think of his name, and I know I was just looking at one of the later iterations of him. But you have these background characters that are just loyal to their cause on their side. That you can trust them to do the right thing for their side and their ideals, and just kind of go there. Um, and I know I'm going to think of the name after I'm off camera here, but the reason why I really wanted this is because not only do we get another copy of him, which I already had one, I didn't really need an extra one, but we get two more of the cassettes. Now, let me, I know I have Soundwave here. As dusty as he is, because he's just, as I've mentioned many times before, I get these guys and I just have them sit on shelves. That's, I'm not a little kid anymore. I don't sit here and I don't really play with them. They sit on shelves. They're kind of more models to me. And unfortunately, don't tell the rabbits here, and I know that they're within earshot. They they just sit here and get dust, and especially with the rabbits, I got dust all over the place with my rabbits. I love them, but they make for a dusty basement. Um, all right, so just looking at this in comparison, I can put them in here and it'll work, but it's a little loose on. This isn't one of the last iterations. This is more of a masterpiece version, a cheaper knockoff of a masterpiece version. And of course, when we look at the size of the cassettes there, and I've got a very miniature, all sitting on top of here, Megatron that the arm had. This is for a role playing game, for Transformers, the role playing game, and the arm didn't quite work well. Who do we have here? This would be probably Frenzy. But when you look at the size, there is a slight size difference between the two because one's more of a masterpiece and one is not. And you just kind of go from there. So, depending on what version you have, I think this would work great in the last version of Soundwave and Blaster. I just don't have them handy. I wasn't thinking about that like I should have, to kind of go from there. So, regrettably, here we are, right? No, this is not. This is someone else, I think. If I bring him out here, I'm going to have the Transformer. That's just kind of one of those unspoken rules, isn't it? You have to kind of take them out and at least transform them a little bit. Oh, come on. And this is more of based off of the original design. If I can get my thumbnail in there to get that head up. I don't know why I'm having the dickens. Don't, that's why. Because it collapses down a little bit and that holds that in there, I think. I think that's the problem. No? Oh, you dickens, you. There we go. Now we got the head. Alright. But still, even just having them the way that they are, I think we do better versions of these today than what this comes out to being on some of them. Because they should be a little closer to size. I think he should be up to about here, up to his waist here a little bit more. Hopefully you guys can see that. But, it's just the whole thing. I mean, this is supposed to be, like I said, this is a knockoff of a masterpiece version in comparison. It's still a lot of fun. It's great to have. Most of the time, Soundwave sits there. These guys are just here as the cassettes. I don't take them out. It just is what it is. We just have the fun. Just great knowing that I've got them, and every once in a while I might pull them out, transform them or whatever, and just kind of go from there. But as far as getting Perceptor, it's a great reason to pick them up. You can have a nice. If I can get that to line up. I'm in there backwards. There we are. All right. We can get them all to line up. He is smaller than our masterpiece version, but depending on what kind of scale you go with, you're always going to get some slightly different version than that. And because I've got him out here, let's show him based off of how he originally transformed. So it was what, like 5 moves? Just that very simple. He is essentially an RC version of Bumblebee. So, all right. Well, with that being said, thank you so very much for joining me today. It's wonderful having you here. Hope you're doing well, and I'll see you in the next video.